was able to do there.
Is it 249-2-4-9, or is it 249, or just said 249, or that's it's a type of machine gun, like a
right,
yeah,
big one.
Uh-huh.
But when he was leaving Iraq, as I said, the commendations that he was expecting did not come to him. And one of the people that got a commendation and promotion ahead of him never volunteered for anything. All he did was work in the shop and do just what was required of him. And it really distressed Anthony. And he went to one of his sergeants and asked him why. And he was told that the other soldier was a member of the Masonic Lodge. He was a Mason. And that Anthony would never get promoted and never get anything if he was up against a Mason.
You're kidding me.
If he did not join the Masons, he was stuck right where he was.
This is absolutely stunning. I have never heard anything like this before.
Well,
absolutely stunning.
That's why Dee Dee says it was his respect for the sergeants and all that he learned in basic
the
that got
Masons.
him in trouble.
Yeah, because these sergeants told him, you will not be promoted or get certain accommodations if you're up against a Mason. They will always get it in this area first. So when he left Iraq and went back to Germany, the same two sergeants...
Dee Dee, this is leaving me breathless. I mean, this is so unbelievable. Go.
Well, when he got back, one sergeant that was it was above Anthony, that was a squad leader. It was a squad leader. And then there was a staff sergeant that he was around and also deployed with, kept saying, you've got to join the Masons. And they convinced him to join the Prince Hall Masons, which is a black Mason group, which is neither here nor there. We don't care about that. But he was the only white in the group, and they called him Brother Lightskin. And when
Black
they joined
Masons. Black Masons.
Black Masons. They're Prince Hall Masons.
This is all news to me, I'll just tell you. Go ahead.
Well, CID told us that they're actually in Germany. The Prince Hall Masons are cover for gang activity, and that you don't know it until you get to about Anthony's level. And when Anthony went through his first degree, they beat him a little bit. They hated him.
There's different levels in the Masonic
up to 33 degrees,
and they call them degrees.
Right.
And as you progress and do different things, you move up in the degree.
And the most important degree is the third degree. The first degree, he got paddled or hazed a little bit, and they paddled him. The second degree happened at the end. Would have happened about the end of November, but he called and wanted me to come over and spend some time with him over in Germany for Thanksgiving, and so I went over, and they literally called off that hazing or that initiation part of it because they did not want me to be there. They didn't want me to see it. Because And
let me
Dee Dee, let me catch up, Dee Dee. You traveled to Germany during the time when you would normally be going through this hazing ritual?
Yes, I traveled there and even helped him with some stuff and met some of these people, and then a month later he's dead.
Did you know anything about this Masonic business? He was telling you about it?
Yes, and we tried to talk him out of it because the beatings were horrific.
Well, yeah,
horrific.
She said originally that the first degree beating, they paddled him a little bit. He told me on the telephone that he could not sit down for a week.
Oh, God.
Did not go to work. And I said, how can you possibly not perform your duties? And he said, because two of my sergeants were Masons in the group that he joined. His immediate supervisors that had recruited him while on duty and participated in the hazing just got other people to cover for him, so they never had to report that he was not on duty.
And these were two black sergeants because he was the only white in the group.
Correct. And there were some Hispanics in the group also. But then when he went through the second degree, after I left, he was beaten again, bad, really bad. And a friend of his, who was a girl, went and took care of him. And she said he iced his wounds again for over a week. And he was literally terrified of the third degree because that's the worst hazing of all.
And what happens after the third? If you survive the third degree, what happens after that?
Well, he didn't survive the third degree.
They don't haze you anymore.
Yeah, they don't. But he died right after the third degree. They beat him profusely.
You think he actually died as a result of the hazing he went through with his third degree Masonic business in the military?
No, he didn't.
The ME say he didn't.
That's but that's why I say this is a little different from some of your other.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something. It's bizarre, Tony. It's bizarre.
It absolutely is, and the problems we've had with the Army are terrible. But what happened was after the third hazing, what he actually ended up dying from was acute alcohol poisoning.
With a 0.42 blood.
Was he forced to drink a lot of alcohol, a lot of booze?
Well, that's what two people told CID, but they wouldn't give names and numbers.
Nobody's going to voluntarily, at his young age, nobody's going to voluntarily drink themselves to death. I mean, this requires massive consumption. This is like a quart of bourbon or something.
Well, basically, what he did is he went through the hazing, and he had contusions, and they beat him with boards. There were 13 of them, and they blindfold him. And they do this in the school, on base.
The school being
high school.
A high school.
There's a base high school, a high school on the base?
Exactly.
In the gymnasium or something?
Yes.
And the Masons have a key to it.
And they're hitting him with boards, or are they hitting him on his torso or also on his head?
Well,
mainly on his buttocks.
Mainly on the buttocks, but with boards.
Correct.
The boards were 13 to 18 inches long, 6 to 8 inches wide, and 2 inches thick, depending on whose board.
Holy cow! I mean, this is like the equivalent of a baseball bat.
Yeah, and he was beaten over 40 times.
Oh my God!
And leading up to it, Jim, one of the other things that will make the story a little more clear, we tried to talk him out of this. I have been a member of Rotary and other volunteer organizations, and I continually told him, there are millions of organizations in this world and country where you will volunteer and they won't beat you up to get you to do good deeds.
He was doing it because he was told he had to do it to be promoted in the Army, which he loved.
Yep.
But there were some other things. Yeah. One of the people in his unit died, and the Masons did a whole bunch of fundraising things to raise money for the two children of this deceased soldier to allow them to go to college.
Because it was the deceased soldier's dream that his kids went to college.
So there were.
Was his death related to hazing?
Yeah. Well.
No.
Depends.
I'm
not talking about Anthony now. I'm talking about this other soldier.
No, the other one. No.
He was in Iraq, and it was just a normal accident of war. But
he was killed. He was killed in combat.
Correct.
Yes.
The other fellow. Yeah. Go ahead.
Correct.
Right. But there were things like that Anthony thought this was a very valuable organization and was doing a lot of good things. So it was more than just that the sergeants had told him he had to join. But we thought we had him talked out of it because he died a month before he was to be restationed to Fort Hood, Texas. And we kept telling him, you can do it in Fort Hood where they're not going to beat you. And his comment was, I'll check with my sergeant, but he won't be happy if I don't go through the third-degree initiation.
And he called me Thursday before he died. He died on a Sunday, and he said, Mom, I talked to my sergeant, and he's really disappointed in me, but he's not too mad. And I said, Anthony, if this is voluntary, how can he be mad? Doesn't the military have a rule that you can't haze? Asking, and yet they're recruiting you and hazing you. Think about this.
One of the things in the hazing is what he related to us was he would be hit 40 times, and it has something to do with Moses or somebody being out in the desert. And
40 days or the 40 days or 40 nights.
Symbolic.
But what his sergeant told him was, if you get so drunk that you pass out during the ceremony, when you pass out, we will stop beating you, and your other Mason brothers will step up and take the rest of your beatings for you.
Oh, my God.
So his sergeant was telling him to get so drunk he passed out.
And in October, he went through ASAP, which is a rehab program. He got out of Iraq. I almost died in June, and his fiancée broke up with him. And just had a lot
he almost died?
Yes, I turned septic, in June.
You had an infection?
Yes, and they sent him. They had him come home. They said that I wouldn't make it.
Was this a uterine infection?
No, it was a kidney infection. as I got a bladder infection, it went up to my kidneys, and then I was on dialysis, and they said I would not live.